you so much. We're circling back today to this Mardu Titans deck. I've had this prep since Monday, and I really want to get to it today because I've been pretty excited about it instead of getting as lost in the sauce with the ring stuff. But we've been playing this deck before. We were playing Bowmaster, we were playing Ragavan. I think that this general shell of having 4 Arena of Glory, 4 Kroxa, 4 Phlage, being able to loot away your Titans for value with looting, being able to loot away Seasoned Pyromancer, Unearth your Seasoned Pyromancer, also Spyro being able to discard these, is like a pretty powerful card advantage shell that's just able to set up hasty Titans really consistently. And, you know, Kroxa is not as good as Phlage is, but just having like a density with Arena of Glory is pretty exciting. Having the ability to have a bunch of different stuff to discard for value is pretty exciting. I think the issue with the build there, though, is that I kind of like the Titans just don't play that well in the more like aggressive, like mid-rangey shell. Like I just didn't, the Ragavan and the Bowmasters felt pretty out of place. And so I ended up kind of transitioning the deck into being a more controlling build, playing more removal spells, playing more discard spells, and also just playing Wrath of the Skies in the main. And you're going to board these out sometimes. But I think Wrath of the Skies in the main makes a lot of sense when you're just when you're using these as like powerful card draw spells. These are your finishers. Here's your sweeper. So this is kind of like a weird blend of the Jeskai like looting control, Jeskai control, where you are just trying to loot these in the yard for value. You're trying to control the board with Wrath of the Skies and then set up for a big finisher with your Titans. And so, pretty excited for this. It was doing well in testing over the weekend. All right, on the draw. I mean, not even one day. I've been doing well with Magosi Tuesday. So I guess Tuesday is the one day. Okay, on the draw against probably Orzhov. How is Wrath Without Tune? We have Discharge, and it is fine. Playable card. Okay, opponent's cooking. Fetid Heath, Shardless Agent have made the same deck here. Not too often that you see that. I'm going to take the Agent, I suppose, although I'm really curious what they're trying to do with that. Clickbait titles by Young Pyromancer. Young Pyromancer has grown up, like you should also, into Seasoned Pyromancer. Thoughts of Path Control in the Wrath slot, since it gets cycled, not needed. I guess Wrath is just much better. Yeah, Wrath is a lot better. And this point is interesting. Could cycle when not needed. One thing that I really like about getting to... I didn't mention this in the deck tech, but one thing I really like about getting to main deck for Wrath the Skies is that you can cycle them just with Seasoned Pyromancer and Faithless Looting. To see Gab running Jeskai control with Consign, Dragons, and also Stone Rain sideboard. Okay. I did not see that, no. Sounds cool. Well, they top decked Birthing Ritual, which stinks, but we do have this Wrath of the Skies to hopefully clear it away. If this was a discharge instead, we could discharge the Recruiter. I missed the Ritual. Yeah, it was not in their hand. This Fetid Heath is really throwing me for a loop here. How can Fetid Heath be correct in their deck? You could play another fetch land. But I'm assuming they could only hit Birthing Ritual off the Agent. Yeah, I do think that Jeskai control in general is like kind of solid in the format, but the problem is that you sort of need you're I think you're pretty solid against energy. You're pretty solid against Dimir. You're pretty solid against the Gorios, and you're pretty solid against the Breach decks. And you are awful against the Eldrazi game 1. And there's a lot of good sideboard cards you can play for the matchup. How was the process yesterday? It was good. It was fun. Went down to Austin yesterday. Oh, okay, so second Agent. His opponent on the new one with Oculus. This deck plays Oculus. I mean, I remember we had the Simic deck with Oculus that I still want to kind of circle back to, even though everybody hated it. I saw the vision. Okay, graveyarding this. All right, seems like a good turn to Thoughtseize. Now, I don't even know if I want to take the Agent. Okay, now I definitely want to take the Agent. and just let them play second Birthing Ritual into my Wrath Disguise, hopefully. Okay, I have to keep that on top. Because if I put that in the graveyard, my opponent will know to play around it. So did not make any more progress towards the Image 3 Redux video. Just kind of spontaneously drove down to Austin yesterday. But hopefully can get some progress on that soon. I'd like to get it done by the end of the month. We'll see. I've had to start the project over a couple times. It's been like a little bit bigger to tackle than I expected. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot I liked about the Simic Oculus deck. I may want to circle back to that one. Although we are running out of time before Aether Drift comes out. I have, I guess, including this deck, I've got 3 things I really want to get to. Tomorrow we're going to play a challenge. I would like to stream on Saturday, but Esther's birthday is Friday night, so I don't. Depending on how late we are out on Friday night, you know, a Saturday stream may or may not happen. Happy birthday, Esther. And then Tuesday, Aether Drift comes out. So we have, you know, Friday, Saturday, maybe Monday to play stuff. Opponent does not play the second Birthing Ritual, which is a little bit surprising. I guess it's okay. They have Boggart Bog also in their Charlotte's Agent deck. Kind of wild. Yeah, like the stuff I did just for the previews is about 4 hours of it's about 4 hours of video for me to sift through, and I don't think it's like the first thing I kind of tried to do with this this video idea was to so I guess we're gonna set up for Wrath X equals 3. Yeah, although if I go Spyro, discard Spyro, Wrath, yeah, it's fine. What I was initially trying to do was like react to like every single every single thing I said in the first video, but that has seemed to be really unfeasible. I'm gonna cast the Looting. I think it's a little bit close here, but I really want to find another land to Wrath next turn. Although an Unearth for a Seasoned Pyromancer does seem really nice, so I think I have to probably keep that. No Titans in the top 18 either, which is interesting. Spike, can you please ban Solarland from Modern? It's not healthy for me. I mean, that card is really messed up. I actually do not have ban on ban powers. Despite common perception. Apparently, Replicate is bugged in Moto. Might explain Eldrazi jumping to 20% of the format. Okay, wait. Well, I've cast a lot of consigns lately, and I haven't had any issues. What's going on with Replicate? Okay, so they Overlord. They get back a Shardless Agent. They still have another Birthing Ritual in their hand. They hit a Voice of Resurgence. Okay. So I want to double block with the tokens since there's a chance I wrath them away here. And not the Seasoned Pyromancer. It just counters the consign and never replicates. The replicate bug was induced with the update yesterday. Well, that's pretty bad. I know Magic Online is a tough thing to inherit. Is what it is. Not exactly feeling like this was a particularly ideal matchup that we've queued into round 1 here. Seems like this turn I just need to Wrath X equals 2. Then Unearth a Seasoned Pyromancer. Hopefully I can find a Titan soon. It looks like I discarded my Swamp earlier. Pretty painful mana. There's an Arena of Glory to hopefully pair with one of our 8 Titans that we have not found. And in the top 22, we've got 2 Lootings in the yard to dig for 1, maybe. Any thoughts on how you build Phoenix at this point? Flame in the sideboard. I do still have Flames in the sideboard. Oh, I'm sorry, I have Flame of Anor in the sideboard. I don't have Arya Flame in the sideboard. Um, I did have an updated build. I was playing like Lightning Axe. I think I was playing like 2 Surgical in the main also. Oh, yeah, I do still have Flame of Anor. I do have an updated build. Might play it soon. Mana seems tough to tap over there. We can't seem to find it. Are you talking about the Nassif Jeskai deck? Been kind of wanting to do like Naya Panza. Stone Rain is not seeming like a very embarrassing card these days. This matchup is kind of kind of comical. I got here, maybe just this. Why 0 copies of Overlord of Baelmerk in this list? Well, I don't think Overlord's that good here. Overlord is a card that you really want to be pairing with Thalia or Crypt of Agadim, Emperor of Bones, Vampire Hexmage. These are the cards that are good with Overlord. I'm not playing any of these at the moment. You could potentially do that, but I think if you want to be really in on 8 Titans, it's also like returning a Titan to your hand isn't exactly something that's that important or valuable. So I guess if I drew another Wrath Disguise off the looting, we could discharge as an energy, and Wrath X equals 5. Well, this keeps me alive, technically. Yeah, opponent's playing a very weird 4-color Birthing Ritual deck that I don't exactly understand. Pillage and Cleansing Wildfire seem like a plan against Belcher at least. Yeah, I'm not sure, but why not Pillage? Yeah, Pillage. Sure. The colloquial Stone Rain, of course. They find an Endurance, and I know they have a green card in their hand here, so we may be just kind of cooked. Like this happened the last time we played this deck too. We just like 30 cards deep without without drawing a Titan. Okay, I do want to block here so that if I can find Wrath Disguise potentially, although it looks like I'm 1 mana short of being able to play Sacred Foundry untapped and Wrath X equals 5. It's kind of want to wonder what the odds of not finding a Titan this deep are. Just for fun. So population size 60, sample size 27, success is 8. I bet we're like 99%. Yeah, 99.5. Just. Whoa! They went Ritual into Disciple of Freylis, sack the Overlord, draw 4 cards. Incredible. So I can go Phlage, escape Phlage. The thing is, they did get the Endurance back, so I'd have to go maybe looting to play around the Endurance. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If I cast Phlage, they're just gonna Endurance in response. So this seems a bit better to me. Found a Titan. Do you think we'll see the Boros Bloodsun deck come back one day? I've been thinking about it some. I do think like turning off Shifting Woodland and Saga out of Breach is a pretty nice dynamic. How many Catcher Most do you think Black-White Taxes should run? Well, I think they almost certainly should just play 4 and build their deck more around it than they previously had. All right, well, let's just get Endurance, I guess. Whoa, they didn't cast. They do have one in their hand, and I feel pretty confident we know they have a green card, but whatever. Pass back. Do you have any green black Abzan brew in the pipeline to warp up the format? I mean, I'm playing right now before your very eyes a black based rock deck. It just isn't green. I have been kind of itching to play Abzan lately, like mix the green white birthing ritual deck and black white, which is kind of what our opponent's doing, but they've also decided to play Agent. I'm not familiar with the opponent's deck. Why are they running Overlord? Seems very random. Black splash for Overlord and non-graveyard deck. Well, Overlord has been pretty common in like this black-white mid-range deck. It's good with Flicker Wisp. It's good with Thalia. I have to assume that they have some copies of those cards in this deck. But yeah, I've been thinking about the Blood Sun archetypes a little bit lately, and Losing Fury was just such a big deal for those decks. Overlord is just crazy. Yeah, I'm glad people are finally playing this card. I played a lot of this. I was even playing Overlord Felia for way before it was cool. So they get a Shardless Agent, and then they don't cast it because they're holding up Hardcast Endurance. Agent seems odd. It just gets 2 bodies for rituals / more rituals. Yeah, people like really love the agent builds. I think it just makes like your deck awkward. I don't know. Well, they got twinning twins. That's kind of crazy. So we're trying to set up to draw another Wrathless, guys. So I don't want to Dreams of Steel and Oil right now because my opponent's just going to Endurance in response, and then I lose these lootings, and I kind of need them to dig for the Wrath. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't think that I discard the Phlage. A black-white blink deck came in 8th challenge with Lily on the last top of the main. Yeah, we played against maybe that player last week. Pretty cool. Modern has been very fun. The gameplay has been pretty fun. I have recently started to... Oh, the Endurance themselves. Wow. Can't say I'm upset with that. I've recently, I've gained a new love in Rings of Brighthearth. Like I have a new new pet card to cook with, and I'm having a really good time over here lately, and I hope you all are having fun too. Aether Drift seems like a really promising set right on the horizon. I think I still have a Surveil land. Another copy of Twinning Twins. A second twin has hit the battlefield here. Do you think 2-mana Plot Jace will ever come back? Maybe. Card was not amazing. Well, kind of an anticlimactic end here. Hard to play around that card. Is Orb or Door Cripple Thrill too cute for just like this? Could take place of Pyro. So there are a lot of like... How do I put this? Torp Orb is interesting. We could have Torp Orbs in the sideboard since Orb is just kind of good against the Orzhov deck. I think the idea of main decking Torp Orb to scam these into play is a little silly when like I think it's better to like have the powerful card advantage engine instead. I'm more interested in this engine than... All right, they're really good at cascading into the ritual, so I feel like I'm just gonna be bringing in like 2 Wear Tear. Seems like a good number. The Amulet's just kind of a flex card at the moment. So yeah, I don't think the Torpor Orb makes a lot of sense to like main deck. I think there have been people who've been trying to play these like Mardu. Like, they've played Mardu Titan like this with, like, Sundial of the Infinite and Torpor Orb and Dull Creeper Throw. And they play so many of these effects. Like, whenever that you see these decks played, they play a million of these freaking Torpor Orb Sundial effects. And I really don't like the way these decks play. I don't like the way the deck looks. I don't like the card quality. Just Faithless Looting them away. Then Arena of Glory them, haste them out. So more resilience and faster. Like, literally, this deck is faster. Like, it is faster to loot it away than Arena of Glory the Kroxa than it is to play a freaking Torpor Orb, then to play your thing, then to attack with it the next turn. Like, you get to go like interact, haste. You know, this I would say that this deck is faster and higher card quality. A good combination. Dull Creeper Throw is the best of that effect. I don't know. It's Dull Creeper Throw isn't good, and like main deck Torpor Orb is kind of unbeatable for black white, which is good. I guess yeah, but you know, gets pushed. I don't know. I don't know what the best is, just because it's like I don't think any of this is particularly strong. Let me take the agent, I guess. You can still haste to a Torpor Orb and play. That's true. That's true. If you go Torpor Orb into haste the thing, that is kind of something. But you don't get the ETB trigger. Have I seen Dak Faden's Mono Blue Vision of Fleshraker? If so, thoughts on a little bit more turbo version like it. I assume the green is probably better, but the splash look neat. Yeah, we've talked a good amount about it, and I like. I think it's interesting. I don't exactly still. I've tried to wrap my head around like it, like if there are like any like big meaningful advantages to playing a build like that over playing the build we've been playing, and I just don't really like. I just to even call that deck more turbo. I don't even know if that's Oh, sorry, I needed to take the stupid rallier because of the wear tear. I don't, to call it like more turbo or whatever. I don't even know if that's like an accurate statement. And like that deck is like really bad at finding Fleshraker. Like not having Rumble, not having Stirrings. Like that deck is just trying to draw a glaring Fleshraker, which is something I don't like. You also don't have like Woodland to copy it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan, and I don't really think that build does anything better than the green build. Just kind of simply. I don't have a second white source here. Okay, I'm going to do this with the hopes of being able to draw another white source. Obviously, I kept Arena over better mana. Maybe that was wrong. But hopes to draw a second white source to go kill the ritual into Spyro. Also, if I had just taken the Rallier, obviously, instead, we'd be in a lot better shape. Once you said Thoughtseize wasn't good, it was a discussion about OP cards, but it's almost a... Once you said Thoughtseize wasn't that good, it was a discussion about OP cards, but it's almost to keep in your hands, and most black decks use it. When I say this is a good conversation. When I say Thoughtseize isn't that good, this is relative, I think, to the degree that people complain about Thoughtseize. This is not... Thoughtseize is a modern staple. It is a very important card. It is also, of course, a keep in your opening hands, because that's when Thoughtseize is at its best, is in your opening hands, and it is quite a bad draw in the mid to late game. And this is a big issue with the card, is it's when you top deck it. Nice pickup. So I think I'm gonna get the Sacred Foundry so that I have Phlage Escape and Kroxa Escape available. When I say it's not that good, I say relative to the amount that people literally we had this long conversation recently about what do y'all think are the best cards in Modern? What do you think are the best cards in Modern? We got like 10 people saying Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is not like a top 10 card in Modern. It's like it is a good card. It's a staple. It is not one of the strongest cards in the format. And that was, I think, the main point I was trying to make back then. It's a bad top deck. The life loss is tough. You're spending mana to not impact the board. It's just not good against every hand. Ugh, brutal Bowmaster here. Yeah, so I may be misremembering, but I believe when we were having this conversation, I believe I was, and I'm calling Thoughtseize not that good or whatever. It's, I'm responding to people calling it the best card in the format. But I may be misremembering. But also I think your point about it being, oh, sorry, I guess I forgot I was escaping the Spyro, so maybe I should have kept the discharge. But your point about it, always being, you always keep it, it's your opening hands. Like, of course, that's when it's good, is in your opening hands, and then you top deck it and you lose the game. Although this deck needing to play like a lot of looting effects also like complements the Thoughtseizes pretty well. Yeah, opponent's deck is really cool. I have an issue with the Fetid Heath, but seems nice. I've been kind of wanting to marry the black-white flicker deck and Birthing Ritual, and doing it this way seems pretty interesting. Yeah, the best card is Rings of Brighthearth. I do really want to try to figure out like a Voltaic Key Rings deck. I am like, Rings has been, it's been good and it's been fun. It's been like, feels a little bit underexplored. It's been so fun with Urza's Cave. That's been like one of my favorite interactions. My opponent is good at drawing Birthing Ritual. Pretty good. Should message him and upgrade for Fetid Heath. Yeah, any fetch land. um, you know what I mean? Like in these 4-color decks, like, and it doesn't like it doesn't. My opponent's only double black card seems to be Overlord. Only double white is Solitude. Those cards cost 5 mana. Maybe they have like There's no way to break the ice of the board, but they might have White Orchid Phantom in the board, so that could be why they have the Fetid Heath. Ooh. Okay. So, this is coming back on my end step. So if my opponent has just a land in their hand, they're going to lose the game because I could just unearth the Kroxa. Nice. Going to game 3. Yeah, they're running Flicker Wisp Disciple, but also, like, how can you play Disciple of Freyalise in the 4-color build? It seems so crazy. But maybe it's just crazy enough to work. Like my issue with Disciple in the green white deck, it's like having untapped green sources sucks so much. In the 4-color deck, I don't know. I guess the thing is they just don't play any 1-drops. So besides, I don't even we have. Sorry, I'm stuttering so much today. Have we even seen Ephemerate? I don't know if we've seen Ephemerate. Sometimes my stutter just. Blah, 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 blah. I have it like mostly under control. So I need the Thoughtseize turn 1 to try to get a Birthing Ritual. And I think I have to get Godless Shrine, despite it being kind of awkward with my needing my Arena of Glories here. You're so much more aware of your stutter than we are. Yeah, I guess that's always the case, right? It just used to be a lot worse than it is, if that makes sense. Can we say Seize is one of the better is better now because a lot of 2-for-1 cards and absence of burn in the meta? Yeah, I mean Thoughtseize is a good modern card. It like probably isn't top 20. But it's just that the bar for top 20 modern cards is so high and and like most of them are MH3 cards. Okay, so let's get Sacred Foundry. I think I just faithlessly loot here. Played a version of this deck that had Shardless into Rituals also playing Domain Scion package. Seemed crazy. That does seem pretty cool. I'm getting actually really excited for the Artifact Birthing Ritual. Especially now that I'm really Rings of Brighthearth pilled. But like I don't know. So like I think it's really cool that you can go turn 1 Enigma Jewel, turn 2 Darksteel Citadel, Mox Opal, play the Artifact Birthing Pod, and activate it on turn 2. So you have like some pretty cool nut draws, and then you can get like it just seems like so fun to like maybe you could also like Frogmite, and then you could just put like a 5-drop into play, like a Golos or a Timeless Lotus or a Sky Sovereign or a I'll draw the 5 mana whenever he casts a color spell, gain 2. That card. Like there seems to be like a lot of potential. Ooh, they top deck the Trawler, which I hate. Let's Surveil. Seems like I just need to kill the voice and then cash in the Thoughtseize, and then hopefully they play something else into the Wrath of Skies next turn. Back in Wrath X equals 3. Although my life total is getting pretty low, huh? Yeah, you could also maybe play Ugin's Lab in that deck, because like I'm even thinking you can play Sundering Titan to get into. Although I don't know if you're gonna have a density of imprintables, but that deck is seeming really fun to build, and I'm really hoping to build it pretty early. Okay, well, let's just see if they have the Bowmaster, so I can die to that quick. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Sorry, I've just put myself dead on board. I don't know why I thought I could afford to cast the looting. I needed to just cashing the Wrath. Anticlimactic into a pretty fun first match. Sorry about that. Could also be an Archwave Innovation deck. Maybe. I do like that card a lot. You were dead now to Master on a turn. Yeah, that's what I know. I was already dead to the Bowmaster, so I was thinking that the Wrath somehow still saved me. And so I'm like, well, if our opponent top deck the Bowmaster, let me just cast the Looting so I can die now instead of like after the Wrath. All right, keeping this. We'll draw against Gihira. Graveyard's a Narset. Interesting to see these kind of decks really deviating away from. I think I need the cards in the yard a bit more. Deviating away from Phlage. Aspire uncastable. Yeah, I had it was not castable. So sorry about that one. So they have another Narset, they have a Teferi, they have a Wrath. Let me take the Narset here. Alright, let's discard Wrath the Skies Phlage. Candace are excited for Bright Glass and Amulet since she just fetches 2 amulets. Tracks, yeah. Well, final review of my grad school application. Awesome, congrats, good luck. It'll go by faster than you think. Esther was like, I guess it was during COVID era, but it felt like Esther like just kind of started and immediately it was over. Okay, so they plus the Teferi. They plus the Teferi again, they can't Wrath away my Phlage. So I kind of expect them just to minus on an elemental token. Okay, maybe they drew 2 in the narrative. Doesn't seem like something I'm supposed to try to play around here. I spoke with the 59 months. Let's go. It's a long ass time. Yeah, so if they drew a 2 and they get to Wrath here. Nice. Yeah, I heard that Consign is bugged. I guess. Yeah, thankfully none of the decks I have prepped are playing it. It's a very bad card to be bugged. Do you think max speed will be strictly this set, or will they print future editions, several cards, and this set of potentially be modern playable if they allow max speed on 1 turn? Well, okay, so like max speed on 1 turn, just the way the mechanic works, doesn't seem to be a possible thing. By my understanding, like that's just not how the mechanic works. But beyond that, like, do I think they'll print more max speed cards? I couldn't tell you. So opponent's hand should be a Lorien Revealed mystery card. They just think they just meant turn 1. I guess I'm a little confused, but yes, if max speed cards were better, they could be modern playable. I do agree with this. I do agree with this thought. If they were better, they could be playable, but they at the moment aren't very good, it seems. There was not a single one from the set that made my made the cut. So, you know, these cards I don't think are good enough now. They could be good enough later, but we just can't really spend too much time thinking about how they could be good if they were good. Just better to focus on I'm getting Orim's Chanted. Okay. So I guess I can Seasoned Pyromancer token here. Matt's with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, cool. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. A card that has fallen from grace What's the thought on including Unearth? Spiral clearly good for 1 mana. Isn't high enough impact since the Titans don't work great with it. The Titan Phlage is good with Unearth. You get, so 1 mana Helix. And you can also Unearth Kroxa sometimes. You can loot away. And the thing is, it's also like the Unearths are like, you see a lot of your decks, you get to Unearth Spyro more often than you would usually. And if the Unearths are bad, it's not too hard to just loot them away. Okay, so let's play around Solitude here. Prismatic Ending and Tune the Narrative. Looking for a Thoughtseize. So let's escape the Phlage, and then let's send this first trigger over at Teferi, so that if my opponent draws into a removal spell for the Phlage off the Tune the Narrative, then we can still kill the Teferi with the Discharge, and then Arena of Glory next turn. And if they don't do that, they lose the game. I guess Counterspell would be a problemo. Nice. I guess we could still kill the Teferi. Just attack the Teferi with the tokens. You know what? I'll say this. Did the Magic Online update break Consigned to Memory? Does it make it to where you have to do this every time? Resize every time? Maybe. But it's not, listen, it's not as broken as it always has been. It's been more broken before. This is not the most broken it's ever been, so you can be thankful that. Did I see a Mystic Gate? I feel like I saw a Mystic Gate. Maybe I'm thinking of round 1. Just trying to talk myself into bringing in some Charmaws. I think because they're blue-white, they almost definitely have Rest in Peace. Yeah, they fixed the lag, but they did fix the lag before the maintenance, to be fair. But listen, they did have gate. Okay. Brought on 1 Charmaw. Just want to do a quick scan of the lag, or the log. I don't want to reread every turn. Sorry to clarify, I mean, if the printed cards in the future to adjust your speed count, aka getting max speed on a single turn, there are several cards that could see play, including the Soul Land. Yeah, I mean, I do think this is true. If they somehow printed a busted card that gave you max speed in 1 turn, then you would get a Soul Land. This is just kind of a daydream, though, that like it seems unlikely they would ever print a card like that. You know what I mean? Come on, land. Damn it. 0.23 lands. Maybe a fast game too. They find a Days Undoing, but we have a Discharge. What does Fatal Push do the match? Oh, sorry. I don't know how I didn't end up boarding out the pushes. We got a lot of dead cards against control. To game 3 we go. The Dreams of Steel and Oil are also pretty bad. Wait, 1 Spellbomb? Just cycle it. Let's keep. I think I'm going to play the Backstreets turn 1. Did see the 4th place Demir deck in yesterday's challenge had 0 Oculus? I did not see that, no. What were they playing instead? Just Murktide? Or Murktide and Bowmasters again. Interesting. Discarding a land that doesn't deal them damage here. Yeah, I kind of just want this to get countered because the Charmaw is 4 mana next turn. Although I don't know that if I should be hasting it because of these Titans. Yeah, I think with the other Charmaw in hand too, it just makes sense to cast. We do re expensive the next Charmaw though. Notably, in these kind of spots, I think it's better to escape Kroxa than Phlage. Oh, well. We do have a bunch of answers to the rest in peace of the deck, and I don't know how easy they're going to be able to beat the double Charmaw here. This is like the best I've ever seen Charmaw perform post-board against blue-white. So they have like basic plain Supreme Verdict next turn. So I guess I don't Prismatic Ending, because if they have Counterspell, Basic Plane, Supreme Verdict, which is not likely, but that's kind of what we're losing to. We might as well let them tap out for Verdict before we Prismatic Ending. I love bringing in Charmaw and control matchups as extra threats. Like, I think it seems to be a lot better against these blue-white builds than... also thinking of Wrath Disguise here. GG's, I have Disguise, played poorly. GG's. It seems better than like against the Phlage builds, where like it's just like Phlage is so fast. Jeff, for 45 months, thank you so much. Did I see the Warriors get fleeced for Jimmy G? I did not see that, no. Did not see that. At Hall, I should have played the Hall for sure. I think counting the Spyro was a punt, but I guess they're the one who usually ran it, yeah. I mean, you gotta count the counter Spyro, I think, most of the time. Oh, GG's. So we punted round 1, we get punted 2, round 2. I think we're keeping this. Or I guess one thing that's pretty bad about this hand is we want to go Godless Shrine turn 1. Maybe we just play Rakdos. Belcher should be a pretty fun matchup. This is kind of a fun hand against it, too. Okay, so we just take their second land here, I think. Especially with me having Kroxa to pressure the other cards in their hand. If we could make them stumble a bit, that seems pretty nice. What happened to my Rakdos Delirium deck that crushed? I was trying for a long time to update it with looting, and... I thought I definitely went into those update attempts thinking it would be kind of an easy thing to do, and it has not exactly proven to to be that. They discard Charbelcher, which is an interesting choice. But like the second Flare seemed to me like an easy discard. Maybe they drew another Belcher. Nice. This is, you know, it feels like most of the time you take this line against them and they just immediately find the the second land. But I'm glad it hasn't worked out that way this time. All right, so discard basic mountain. Kroxa, play Kroxa. What was the cut of Bowmaster reason? I just felt like the Bowmaster and Ragavan felt kind of out of place, where you're wanting to play like a more controlling game plan in general. Removal, discard, escape your Titan. And Bowmaster just didn't feel like it fit the game plan as well as I expected it to. And I've been pretty happy with the pivot over to Wrath Disguise. Is there any relevant payoff with max speed for burn decks? In Modern, it doesn't seem like any of this is going to end up being playable. Any of the max speed stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna keep just the looting in the yard here. Don't have much Belcher hate. Belcher's been kind of obscure lately. Discards a Tamashi. Hand is Archaeologist Flare. Mystery card, mystery card. This card's a whir. Still has Archaeologist Flare. Young or seasoned? I mean, of course, you know, this young Pyromancer had to grow up sometime. Sink, Seagate, and also mill the Thundertrap Trainer. So they take the Seagate. You would think I guess they would take the Seagate for Tamashii. Okay, punish for leaving the looting in the yard. If I consider Dull Creeper Throw to combo Titans, I really hate that plan. It's been asked about a lot today. I'm really not into it. It's just like you don't need to. I guess maybe I should have Thoughtseized first, huh? I think it's unlikely I'll need that. Another flare. I honestly like them like leaving this many flares in their hand is such a punt. But like it's like you like being able to like loot away your Titan and then escape it to Arena of Glory is just it's better than like having to like play a Torpor Orb, untap, and then do this thing. To me, I'm just like so much more excited about this plan, and I've never really like these Mardu like Torpor Orb Titan decks have been around for a while, and I've just always been kind of a hater, I guess. I want them to counter here so that the Kroxa deals more damage. Card evaluation question. Minor misstep. Thoughts? Just play Pest Control instead. Minor misstep and Pest Control seem to be like very funny cards to compare. One is a 1-mana blue counterspell. The other is a white-black sweeper. The fact that they occupy the same space as or in your mind is interesting. They don't really occupy the same space in my mind. Okay, so let's cut this sorcery speed removal. I think Nihil Spellbomb against Tamashii is fine. I also want the Wear Tears. I think pushes. Let's cut the Amulet. Maybe one of the pushes, since these kind of cover the Tamashii. Yeah, I guess their deck only takes 3 to Kroxa if they have no cards in hand. Yeah, I'm a Shatter Assumptions fan. Don't like to play too many copies of it. But you know, as far as Doorkeeper Thrall and Torpor Orb go, it is kind of interesting that those cards are well positioned in the metagame right now, for whatever that's worth. But I also think you're just trying to fight those decks with all the Wrath of Skies. Seasoned Pyromancer unban has been one of the best things that happened to Modern recently. It's been pretty nice. The ring going has been obviously a big boon for this card. Okay, my opponent's on a Mold of 6. Against Belcher, I think I'm gonna have to join them. Alright, give this one a go. An honest try. It's a really good card to draw, so I can know like how good I am going to be at answering a Tamashii, of course. I have a lot of answers to a Resolve Charbelcher with all these Wear Tears. So I think I'm interested in just taking the Seagate here to stop them from doing anything next turn. Sparrow's unbanned. It wasn't banned in the sense that it just wasn't a very well positioned card for a long time. So when the chatter says Spyro unbanned, they're joking, but it is now a playable card in the format again, is what they're saying. Seems like a fine turn to deploy the Backstreets. I thought Bowmaster was a big reason for Spyro seeing less play. Why does the ring contribute to its resurgence? I would say no. Like the ring being legal, it's very tough to play Seasoned Pyromancer over the One Ring, especially like in decks like this, in decks like Boros, in any deck that would consider playing, Seasoned Pyromancer should have just played the ring. But also Bowmaster is less popular, which is also part of Seasoned Pyromancer being better. But I think it was more about the One Ring than Orcish Bowmaster, for whatever it's worth. It's like I'm trying to think of an example of a deck that could play Seasoned Pyromancer and would have chosen to do it over the ring while the ring was legal. And I kind of am drawing a blank here. Oh yeah, Giganthaband was also kind of real, but maybe when it comes to like Fable versus Spyro. Yeah, that is also real. Okay, so they suspend a Lotus Bloom, so I guess I'm gonna not sack my Spellbomb super aggressively here. They do have their hand is Tamashii, Seagate, Charbelcher, Mystery card. Why is it Tamashii? It's interesting that they would choose to do that instead of just slamming the Belcher against the Mardu deck. Little entomb value there. All right, so they're going to discard their non-Charbelcher card, I imagine, and then we get to Wear Tear the Belcher. They discard another Tamashii. Well, I guess what my opponent could do is they could just go like discard the card they draw, discard the card they draw, and then when on the turn the bloom comes down. Although I guess I could Wear Tear the Lotus Bloom. That would be like a really ridiculous way to play around the Wear Tear in my hand, though. All right, so let's attack first to play around Flare of Denial in their hand. They discard a Whir. Take 6. Looking for another Titan. I think with the other looting in our hand, keeping the Unearth makes some sense. One card. They're playing it, whatever it is. Whir for 0 main phase. So this means they are just setting themselves up to top deck a Goblin Charbelcher. Should be better to flashback looting, and then if we find nothing, unearth the Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, so do we die to Whir? We also die to Whir off the top. We don't die to Tamashii. If my opponent takes 6, they go down to 5, and then I guess they could discard whatever they draw and be alive next turn. All right, Fate of top deck. The Mardu way, Fate of top deck. I don't think they have Seagate, do they? I remember seeing one anyway seized. Yeah, but they did have one because there's not a Seagate in play. They ended up getting discarded. Or maybe it was already discarded. Oh, I discarded it. Right. Would you ever play a Funeral Charm in this deck? So I have played Piracy Charm in Modern a long time ago. And I did that in a blue Dreadhorde Arcanist build where it just like that card was just kind of weirdly well positioned for a bit. What is this second main phase pump fake? This is such bullshit. All right, let's see how they sideboarded. Brutal top deck. Needed fade 1. This was pulled from a 5/0 dump. Okay, take a look. You gonna send me a Phyrexian Flesh Gorger and tell me I like this? We actually saw a pretty similar build to this recently. And I don't know. I see a lot of Troll in a format where Psychic Frog is legal. I get a little confused. You do get to stay 2 colors in your Shifting Woodland deck, though. We saw a deck pretty similar to this recently. Phyrexian Flesh Gorger is one of my least favorite cards ever. I just have no idea what it's doing here. Yeah, I don't think Funeral Charm seems to be well positioned. I was bringing out a similar list. I was main decking 4 Agathas and 4 Fulminator Mage. It doesn't sound super similar, but sounds interesting. Ripple's Zenith is cool. It's cool. I don't think the card is great. Oh yeah, sorry, I did not look how they sideboarded. distracted by the green-black deck. Although I do actually have it in the game log here. They have Unable to Scream, which is kind of bad against me. Not much else of note. Nice land. Would Charmaw be better than Push? Push for Tamashi is pretty important, I think. Okay, so they have 1, 2, 3, 4 lands. Seems like we should just take the trainer. Ripple seems worse than Overlord. Yeah, I think so too. Put on top deck the Lotus Bloom, which stinks. So if I cast the Spyro next turn, I can discard Looting Mire. Then I'll have Thoughtseize, Looting, Mire. And then I sack another Mire. So I need to loot here if I want to escape my Kroxa on time. I don't know if I take the Gerard Disruption or the Flare. It seems, I think because they have double tap landed, they're not going to have a hard cast Flare up. Also doesn't seem like I'm going to get to cast the Spyro next turn. I don't know if I'm going to flashback Looting or Surveil. We'll see what we draw. Gonna try to hide that I have the arena for the time being. And seems better to flashback the Looting. Gonna discard the Mire, almost definitely. I'll discard Spyro if I draw Unearth. Well, it's possible we go like Kroxa, Unearth Kroxa the turn after. Kind of glad we're drawing Kroxa instead of Phlage. So, wisely maneuvered around the Gerard Disruption potentially. Hopefully. Kroxa escaped. 4 cards in their hand right now. They do have an Unable to Scream, so we may have our Kroxa screamed here. But if they do that, I mean, I guess they can keep like land plus that, or they can keep Flare plus that. Will we get another spin with Magosi? I think so. I want to do like a little bit of a vibe check after this league to see, are people tired of the Magosi brews, or do they want to see the best build, which I think we have, or at least an updated version of the build that's really in on Deserted Temple. That build felt pretty good in testing off stream. So they kept the Scream. They still have the Flare in their hand. And they play this untapped to have... Wait. Sorry, they don't have the Flare in their hand anymore. Sorry about that. Okay. Now... let me see what my next card is. Let's graveyard that. It does seem important for me to play Nihil Spellbomb out so that I can play around a Tamashi. I'm going to sacrifice the old Kroxa to get an extra card in the yard. They discarded Goblin Charbelcher. Thank you, Kroxa. I don't really know why they didn't play. I guess they're playing around Wear Tear, but good news for me, I suppose. So I draw a Looting. So this gives me enough to escape the Kroxa here. Yet again, we're to do a top deck Belcher, and we win if they don't top deck Belcher. So that didn't work out. This play didn't work out so well for us in game 2. We'll see how this works out for us in game 3. They discarded Disrupting Shoal, which they could have cast to counter the Kroxa. I guess we'll take that. Just Kroxa on the stack. I'm going to discard the Shoal. I don't know. Falahi Archaeologist. And they brick. So they're not dead because they can chump block. Opponent played Springs and not have lethal. Okay, yeah, I am confused also. Yeah, I guess I'm confused about that too. Yeah, we have lethal here at their Kroxa. They didn't realize Kroxa cost 2. I mean, if they thought it cost 4, then the Bloom also gets it for whatever that's worth, I guess. All right, good job, Kroxa. You're a good Titan, a playable modern Titan. Definitely excited to play this matchup. Yeah, scared of untimely malfunction for sure. That was it. What is a consign bug? Apparently, replicate just doesn't work anymore, is what I've been told. Thinking back at a recruiter or a witch enchanter. They choose recruiter, which of course tells us they've got plenty of lands in their hand over there. Let's grab an Elegant Parlor. And then I think I'm down to Dreams of Steel and Oil this turn. Prefer to Spyro discard these, I think. Then they just cast a Kroxa here. So the hand is Recruiter, Emperor of Bones, Solitude. Seems like well, maybe I want to leave them with the Recruiter. It's like or the Emperor. No, let's just take the Emperor. It's just so bad if they I guess we exile the Overlord, so they can't Emperor another Overlord super easy. It doesn't work at all. That's what people are saying. We haven't tested it ourselves here. At least it's a bug that doesn't break the game state. Could play it on honor code. Well, if the replicate doesn't work against something like Myco Spawn, how do you honor code that? Seems like it's just broken. That's so cool that people are playing this card. Although we're going to be 1 card short of escaping a Titan next turn. Are we just going to ignore the Leo on the hand? Is that normal? This is not abnormal at this point. Funny enough. Oh, are they going to kill my Spyro? How are they going to do that? Did you make some video about the new set? What could be interesting? I did, yeah. I do think it's funny that that your process for finding out is asking me in chat instead of looking on the YouTube channel, but I did, yeah. It's there. So they didn't cast the Recruiter. Why didn't they cast Recruiter? They can't cast Solitude here. They have Felia? Alright, so their hand is Solitude, Emperor of Bone, Recruiter of the Guard, Mystery card. Do you still think Faithless Looting is the best card in Modern? I don't know. It seems like it felt that way for like maybe a week until every single deck's playing a ton of Graveyard Hate. I do not feel like it's the best card in Modern anymore now. Might be Underworld Breach, which is kind of funny because the whole Graveyard Hate conversation. Just like the Graveyard Hate is just not that good against Underworld Breach is the funny thing. Interesting. So they can get rid of one of my 2 Titans. They choose Phlage over Kroxa. That makes some sense. And then they activate the Phlage, which makes a little bit less sense. I guess they could just pitch the Recruiter on the Solitude on the Recruiter and trade for the Kroxa that way. So I guess, do I even haste the Kroxa off Arena of Glory? I guess the answer is just no. Let me see if I Surveil Phlage into the yard, though. Although I don't know if I'd even do that. When I get Dog and Blink Overlord. Yeah, I think they're a little tunnel visioned on stopping my escape here. Hashtag paid actor. I mean, we are seeing a higher density of misplays, but it's also just because like the Modern format is pretty new and people are punting a lot because of that. It's been like this for a while now. I guess I need to be able to multi-block this Overlord, so let's take 4. Kind of weird. I think I'm gonna cast this, deal 2 damage to the Overlord. So if I draw a... Oh my god, sorry. I need to do a better job of looking at my mana. I guess I should have just done it for 0 for Wrath Disguise. Okay, I can still Wrath X equals 5 next turn. Although I guess I want to wait on the Thoughtseize, so if I draw a land, I'm able to Thoughtseize like Felia or Solitude and then Wrath Disguise. Yeah, it's just like there's a lot of new decisions you have to make in this modern format compared to old ones, and people are still figuring it out. Me too, of course. Been making a lot of little mistakes. I think I'm going to try to triple block the Emperor of Bones to try, which I think could get my opponent to commit more into this if their non-Felia card is something relevant. This block doesn't exactly scream that I have Wrath Disguise. The push kind of, I think, counts as getting them to commit more. It's kind of weird. Really wish I just used the Discharge as a ritual. Plays a Flicker Wisp, okay. How does the sewer deck ever beat a Resolve Torp Orb, though? I've actually lost to the sewer deck with Orb in play, but it is possible. Okay, so now I need to spend all my mana on this Wrath Disguise. My opponent's hand is, at the moment, Solitude Felia, so the Thoughtseize is going to be able to get one of those, and then I can go Thoughtseize one of those, then Unearth the Spyro, and keep battling. Bibbo at the 14 months, thank you, welcome back. Yeah, Felia is pretty good for the beat Resolve Torp Orb plan. Their hand is another Solitude. So let me see if I can surveil a Titan into the yard, although with their hand being Solitude, I don't know that we're exactly thrilled. But I guess I should keep a Wrath Disguise. Unearth the Spyro, draw 2. Love Kroxa here to get that last Solitude out of the hand. Kroxa has been good. Kroxa's been pretty good today. Probably don't want to flicker my Spyro with the Felia. But it has all 4 Solitudes in the yard, by the way. Plays a Godless Shrine. Looks like I'm going to get to haste to Kroxa. Should I loot first? Let's decide to wait a turn on the looting. Seems fine to me. Let me know if you would fire off the looting first, but I think I'm just happy enough to do this. Yeah, this gameplay is just so good. I'm having a good time today. Interesting that they choose to impending. Oh, they just have they have a Flicker Wisp in the yard. They do, okay. So if you have Flicker Wisp, you always want to impending, so you can just cast this and then flicker the Overlord. Great top deck for them. Some sewer decks play Cathar Commando in the sideboard. Also, Bibla, I don't know if I thank you for your 14, but thank you for the 14. They decide to return Emperor of Bones instead. So they can, like, Emperor Flicker Wisp, maybe. Or they could Emperor, like, Solitude and Solitude the Spyro, and then Felia the Overlord. So I don't have enough to Wrath X equals 5 next turn either. There was a reason to loot to find a removal spell. Yeah, but it was like a little bit weird to try to do that with Wrath in the hand. So they do Solitude my Spyro. I gain 2. I'm going to take 5, and then they're going to get to Overlord something back. Oh, they don't attack with the Solitude? Oh, because they're flickering the Solitude. Okay. So this is worse into Wrath Disguise, because now I'm going to be able to clean up all of these 2-drops without letting their Overlord come down, which is good. Although they're going to keep their Solitude in play unless I draw, like, Discharge. Okay, so let's loot. I'm out of Surveil lands, but I think I keep the fetch. And then we'll just go spend all of our mana into the Wrath for the next one. Although we only get to bank 1 energy, I guess. They have Solitude Overlord. I get to haste to Kroxa next turn. They are top decking again. Hopefully they don't top deck another, like, banger. Although they have a lot of good top decks, of course. Okay, my opponents put themselves dead on board. Love that. Even with no fetchable, it's still better to play out the fetch. All right, no need to loot. They're dead on board. They got no cards in their hand. What is it called? Sewer. It's a Gabriel Nassif meme. Why not Wrath for 5 with the land? We had the Arena of Glory was exerted, so that wasn't a legal play. Does this deck want Overlords too? I don't think so. You could build this deck with Overlord and Felia if you wanted to. But the build would probably be like 12 cards different ish, for whatever that's worth. Okay, so sideboarding in this matchup. On the draw, Dreams of Steel and Oil seems to be just better than Thoughtseize because we're not going to be able to take Vial anyways. Wrath Disguise is pretty good at cleaning up Vial, so I don't know if we need Wear Tear, but I'm kind of interested in playing like 2 less Thoughtseize plus 2 Wear Tear. Killing Overlord is like also weirdly relevant. You had the mana to Wrath for X equals 5 even with tapped Arena. If I had 7 mana there with tapped Arena, then I probably should have done that. I don't think that I did. I think that you've maybe miscounted, but obviously if you're right, you're right. I might want to play Nihil Spellbomb too. Why do we use the zoomer settings? So for some reason, every Magic Online update for the last like month or two, whenever we come off of maintenance, this is just what it's like. It just is zoomed in like this. Actually, let's play one Wear Tear, one Nihil Spellbomb. It just is like this every single time. I don't understand, but I can't do anything about it. Are you qualified for RC? If so, which am I going to? I have not been playing RCQs for like the last 9 months. It's been very difficult to fit into my schedule. My plan going into this year was to focus more on the Spotlight series of events, so I could just try to like one and done these tournaments, because it's just not really fitting into my schedule to play all of these RCQs on the weekends when I have so many projects I'm involved in at the moment. That being said, also with me getting married this year, it's been also difficult to really even commit to playing like a lot of other tournament series stuff. So, mostly just still giving y'all decks and working on stuff. But my hobby of tournament magic has been kind of put on hold a bit. I think we have to hold up the discharge for Felia here, right? I guess I'm going to draw off the Witch Enchanter here. Don't need to crack it, it'll still trigger. And I can go like discharge the Wisp Unearth. I guess we can Thoughtseize first. I have to get Godless Shrine. Easy recruiter. Interesting that my opponent took the Flicker Wisp, like they took this line instead of just casting recruiter. I actually think that's kind of crazy. Can I explain the one amulet to me? It seems like you'd want 4 or nothing since better in multiples. Yeah, I actually don't know that it's better in multiples in this deck. I am trying to kind of figure out how many amulets I want. And it is kind of a question mark for me if it's like how many. So I just am playing 1 for now, and it's been pretty bad. So I'm open to playing like 4th Unearth or 1st Overlord or something. Have not really liked the amulet very much, but I just kind of have it in the deck as like a flex spot that I'm testing still. I think we kind of have to haste the Phlage, because if we don't haste the Phlage, my opponent may they may not run out the Solitude here. Yeah, if we just get to get their entire hand empty from this is a pretty big win for us. It's gonna be okay this game because we have 2 energy banked. Am I attending the RC? Yeah, not attending the RC. I'm not queued. I'm probably gonna go to Indy. I went to the Atlanta showcase series, but for the most part, with like the wedding planning. It's just I just don't have that much in the budget for extra trips this year. I think I just want to discharge this before. I guess we should. They could draw Overlord. Yeah. Sorry, Emperor of Bones. That's what I mean instead of Overlord here. Drop the amulet for 1 Lingering Souls. Feel the draw. Start adding more Lingering Souls. Yeah, I don't know. Lingering Souls is kind of a tough sell, but I sure would like to feel like Lingering Souls was playable in this format. I agree. Okay, so let's go just cast this Kroxa and see if we can get that last card out of their hand here. It's a Felia, so now we're going to cast the Phlage on the Felia. I will say that it's a very good sign for our Mardu Titans deck that we are able to outgrind the black-white deck like this. We're played against a even more grindy build round 1, which was like playing Charlotte's Agent Birthing Ritual. We punted at the end of the match, unfortunately. But beyond that, we are have won every match today. Let's get a 4-1 prediction in the queue here. Okay, sorry about that. There's a cat that loves to torment Lucy. She's been so mad at it. Okay, new matchup. New mulligan, I guess. Let's keep this. Let's put back second discharge. Kind of an early concede. Yeah, that was definitely an early concede on their part there. Nightmare over Amulet? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like Unearth is maybe still better. So my opponent has graveyarded a Surgical Extraction here. They've done that when I have Phlage in the yard, which is not exactly inspiring confidence here. It seems we are indeed queued up against Mill, which I'm not thrilled about. They must have like another Surgical in their hand here. I have been wanting to play Nightmare lately. Okay, this card of Fractured Sanity. We'll see if they have a Archive Trap. No Archive Trap. It's good news. Blue for Founding the Third Path. Interesting. Casting Glimpse. 4 cards left in their hand here. That cat is screaming. Oh, sorry. I guess it's a bit awkward. I've drawn both Swamp and Plains, which means I can't cast the Spyro and I can't escape either Titan now. That's pretty annoying. Only happens if you draw both. Arena of Glory off the top would be pretty dang good. We still have all 4 in the deck. And only 35 cards left in our deck. They wisely choose to exile Kroxa instead of the Phlage because I played the Swamp instead of the Plains. Hopefully they don't have another Surgical because we're really just not going to win this game if my opponent has a third Surgical. I think I'm going to flashback the Looting instead of playing the Spyro because I really need this white source for the Phlage next turn. And then it would also not be such a bad thing if I found a removal spell for the Crab. So they've got 2 cards in their hand. I have 31 cards in my library still. So a little ways away from Shelldock being online, but if they just have another mill spell, it'll be online, I guess. Fractured Sanity down to 17 cards. They milled only 1 Arena of Glory. I guess I still have 2 in the deck. We get to see the hand. Well, I guess it's worse to cast Streams. Like my opponent could like wake up with Surgical somehow. Doesn't seem super likely. They're still at 20. Few cards that kill us off the Shellduck Isle. Pretty unlikely they have a crab, but we might as well cast this. Archive Trap and Glimpse in their hand. Guess we can exile the crab. Victory. So now if they have anything underneath this, I don't know that we can win. Any mill spell underneath this, rather. Now if there's any mill spell underneath this, they can cast this Glimpse and the mill spell. But they haven't cast it yet, so maybe it's just nothing. Could be, maybe it's Fatal Push. I have 5 cards left in my deck here. So my opponent could, I guess what could this be that's just like such a complete brick? I guess it could just be a land somehow. My opponent has just an Archive Trap. Is there anything we could like loot into? Doesn't seem that way, no. Seems like I might as well just Helix them. It's a bit more damage than getting back Spyro token. So we're dead to an untapped land. We're not dead to a crab. We're also dead to any mill spell. We're not dead to a crab. We're not dead to Founding the third path. We are. No, Founding puts me to 1 card. They do keep a card on top, so I'm not expecting to be alive here. Fractured Sanity. Close one. This bug is driving me crazy. Every single round. Okay, so let me cut these Wrath Disguise. I think I want the Charmaws as non-graveyard focused win conditions. I want to cut the Dreams of Steel and Oil, and I think we could leave the Amulet in and just be a 61. Seems okay. You don't want to go too far above 60. Do you think Brood Skull combo is a good deck to bring to SCG Con? It's a fine choice. It's definitely a fine choice. You have to make sure you feel pretty good about your list. Card, Den of the Bugbear. This could be a good addition to add pressure versus these surgical decks. Den of the Bugbear is impossible to play in this deck, I think. We have 4 copies of Arena of Glory. We have double black requirements. We have double white requirements. We cannot afford to play Den of the Bugbear's other mono-red utility lands. Non-starter in my mind. Wear Tear for Bridge. I didn't know that. I don't know if they're on bridge at the moment. I would kind of assume no, but if they are, I'm just not in tune with the mill Discord or whatever. I think it's better to bring to Hunter Burton, Blue Black Oculus, or Black White Doggo Overlord. I think the Black White deck is better than the I think the Black White deck is better than the Dimir deck. I would have fetched since they didn't show Trap this turn. That's fair. I didn't mill a Seasoned Pyromancer. I do think I'm just going to unearth the Kroxa here. Although, sorry, I guess should have fetched Blood Crypt first, because now I can't cast the Spyro. We can flashback the looting next turn, maybe. Also get Surgical. Catchermose, have I thought something on it? I think Catchermose is the best card from the new set. I did a YouTube video talking about that card and all the cards from the new set. You can find it on the channel. Do one for every set these days. Glimpsing me down to 30 cards in my yard. They do mill over a Phlage, so Arena of Glory off the top would be some nice justice, maybe. Double Thoughtseize is pretty interesting here. Okay, double lands sucks. My mountain is in the graveyard also, so that Field of Ruin is brutal here. Oh yeah, the Phlage's not castable, basic swamp. I didn't fetch it at least, I just drew it. If I'm testing Blink for Charlotte, how many Ketchamos should I start playing with? You should start with 4, and you should. That's what I'm going to be doing. I think that you probably want to try to maneuver your deck around Ketchamos a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like, I think you should try to make some deck building considerations that. What's funny is if they field my theater in response here, we could escape the Phlage. I think because we still have the planes in our deck. Like I would like to see like maybe main deck relics. I would like to it is of course good with a lot of stuff you're already doing. You maybe don't need to change the formula so much, but I think it's good to mess with the formula early into the card's release. And this is usually what my process is like when a new card comes out. I warp a deck around a new card to maximize its potential. I try to, when I play Ketchamos for the first time, I'm going to try to build the deck in a way that the Ketchamos is the best it can possibly be. I'm not doing this, I don't do this usually because I think this is going to be the best way that deck is going to be built necessarily, but I like to structure my early brews this way because this gives you an idea of the maximum potential of a card like Ketchamos, and then you start to peel back, you start to remove some of the synergies, and you start to like kind of let these kind of cards be more in like the traditional builds of decks, if that makes sense. Another Field of Ruin, kind of a bummer. I've not seen Ketchamos do much at all, just jammed into Black-White Blink. You don't have to turn into a creature that often. You don't get to turn into a creature that often. That is good feedback. I do think being able to turn into a creature is really important to compensate for the life loss on the card. It's interesting that, okay, I don't have another red source of the deck, so it seems like we are going to lose. This is a Helix, so I might as well keep it. Yeah, Ketchamos Crimes could be a thing. Ketchamos does play really well with Solitude, Ephemerate, Flicker Wisp, Emperor of Bones. And these are cards that the deck already plays, but I think you should just try to play 4, and I think you should try to warp your deck around it a bit. Okay, so a little bit of a win sandwich here. Losing round 1, winning the next ones, and then losing again. That's updated Mardu Titans. Pretty interesting build. And then what I want to do next is I want to pivot into this Rings of Bright Hearth build. I don't exactly know how hyped y'all are, but I'm pretty hyped, I guess.